you're a businesswoman, you're a boss babe, as your Instagram says, and I think that's a cool way of looking at, powerful, strong women who are independent in terms of business, in terms of life, and in terms of, everything they do. It's not what society used to paint a picture of is, the woman needs a man. Whereas they've never needed a man, but now it's kind of, you can see it more because people are realizing that women are, sometimes a lot better than men.
Well, definitely. I think in South Africa, women are, they're getting paid more these days than this normal South African man.
It's true.
So there's this big thing about women empowering, and I'm all for that, but without putting down the men, obviously. But because of the women empowering, there's so much higher paid jobs or opportunities for women these days than the men.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it should be, okay, fine. Women, maybe previously they weren't getting jobs because they were women, but now, allow a woman to get a job if she is more qualified than a man. If a man does happen to have more qualifications, is better suited, give it to the man, give it to the person that's better suited. If the person's a woman, give it to a woman. And obviously, it's difficult to, as a company, you don't want to, look like you are siding with one person. And as you obviously, you run your own company, and you want to explain what that company is?
Yeah, sure. So we are the Protein Joint. We wanted to, the business idea actually changed over the COVID. So I had a business plan, but it had to be adjusted to fit the COVID times. So at first, I wanted it to be, we usually, I go to a restaurant and I want egg whites, and not everybody caters to that, and it's kind of frowned upon, like, why are you being so difficult?
Yeah.
So I wanted to create a space where you can go and you can eat a piece of cake, but it's not that bad for you. You can order your food like you want it, and it's normal, kind of normal.
Yeah.
And but then just before the opening, it was we did renovations, and then it was locked down, so we couldn't really have an opening. And then and there wasn't time for sit down or anything. So the business idea changed a bit, and we do food prep for anybody, actually, according to your diet or whatever. And that's actually the part that I wanted to not get that big, but that's actually the big thing now.
It's usually like that. It's also, most of the time, it's something you're not actually focusing on that becomes, the thing that you should actually be focusing on.
I had a C in home economics. That was not, I didn't like preparing food, but I think I've competed for 7 years, so I quite know how to do prep food that I can do, or healthy food. Can't make any other food. And that's picking up quite a lot. And it's the growth, the incline that is growing, it's steep. Like, I need to think, we need to expand, or this, because we started small, but I think it's January and everybody wants to get back into shape. But we are quite really busy more on that than anything else.
That's crazy, because I would have thought, because obviously with lockdown and everything, people are working from home. People are being able to cook their own food, whereas previously with food prep companies, it was the convenience of, you know what, I'm at work all day, I don't want to have to go cook, let me get a food prep company. But now people at home, it's interesting that you say that now obviously you're doing better now that it's more people at home. So I would have thought it would be the reverse, that more people would want to have their own food.
But I do get that we do fresh food and people don't want the frozen food, and I get asked, so can we freeze the food? And I'm like, you can, but it takes away from the quality, and you don't want to eat food that's not tasty, then you're not going to diet anyways, or be on your eat plan. So we try also not to make it like bland. So we've got our ways. We use like the Carb Smart sauces and spices and coconut oil. So you won't get a dry piece of chicken and your beans or whatever. So it's more tasty, and I think people like that, and it's visually good to look at because it's full of colorful and so it works better than your prep company that's just your fish and your...
Yes. And obviously that's something is that something you learnt along the way, was, because obviously the way you started your company, even you said now how you've had to change and focus also on food prep when you previously weren't focusing on that. How, what have you learned? Obviously, that's one of your brand shifts, but I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons along the way.
Yeah, sure. So I wouldn't say we're quite there yet with everything. It's still a learning curve. So I want to expand and open another shop. I'm looking at Cape Town. But I have to get this one like fluently running. So we're getting there now. But the food prep is so busy that I'm on my feet like constantly, late nights, because you want the best quality. So I do make it fresh. But there were a few minors that this doesn't work, this works. And we're still learning every day. There's something new coming up. Like there's always something, oh, wait, the coffee machine, or oh, wait, this. There's so much maintenance and it consumes a lot of your time.
And I think that's, as a business owner, when people are starting their own business, you think, okay, this is what my business is. This is all I have to worry about. And then once you start that business, you realize how many different things actually take up your time, how many things that you wouldn't expect to go wrong just go wrong. And I mean, that's what makes a successful business successful, is having, the owner, the manager, whatever, being able to think on their feet, adapt, and, overcome those small little setbacks to be able to continue to run the business successfully.
So when you get a business idea, you think, okay, I'm going to open this business. Okay, the idea is there. So, but then it's like, okay, I need to have my bookkeeper, my SARS, everything in order. Now I've got employees, so the UIF needs to be done, and the labor law, and you think, okay, just open and we can just have a till and you can go. But there's so many other factors that go around that. It's not just, okay, open your shop. And that's what I've learned from that.
How long have you been open for now?
Well, like I said, we did renovations, which had us closed for a while. And we had a setback from the renovations, and it was lockdown. And so after lockdown, we opened because we located at the entrance of the Planet Fitness. So whenever the gyms closed, we were closed. Yeah. So we couldn't be open. And so since after lockdown and open, we're running now.
Okay. And you don't just do food?
No, we're like a supplement shop. We stock all your supplements that you need. And we've now get protein ice cream. I look at different things like what's new, or supporting other companies as well that's also proudly South African, or small companies like Triceps and Treats that does the protein treats for us. So I look at everything protein that's fun or exciting or something that we stock that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of everything protein, egg whites, supplements. I wanted to create a shop where I need to go to Woolworths, then I need to go to Dis-Chem, but I need that. So now you can exit the gym, you can get something healthy to eat, you can get your smoothie while you wait, or you can have coffee and a guilt-free cheesecake and then go. So just a one-stop shop while getting your supplements and then go.
Yeah. And is this something that you've, obviously because you say you've been competing for 7 years, have you always thought, this is missing in the market, or why hasn't someone thought of this?
Well, I think especially after COVID, everything is getting more healthier. So maybe we started at the right time, the wrong time, but the right time. Yeah. But I've had experiences where you go to a place and you want to eat this, or you want cake, but there's no place that sells, like a protein. You have to order in advance. But if I'm on my cheat meal, I don't want to order anything. I want to go out, I want to eat. So the gym in the shop is not per se big enough for that at the moment, but we don't do sit down really at the moment. So expanding, I think if we get a shop that's not inside a gym, maybe in Cape Town, that would be something to look at. The whole business area, like I said, it's changed, but it's so diverse. You can have a less supplements, say, but more of the food and everything, because that's really Cape Town's also more healthy, and the joggers and everybody's there. So I think it'll do great.
Okay.
We also got a food truck that we branded, and we're planning on being at all the shows if everything goes well.
And the next show is obviously the one you're doing as well.
big man, but I haven't spoken to them yet. But we've been at the last show, I think it was Eye Candy. Yeah, we were there.
And you told me something interesting, that it was something about your childhood, and I think it's a very interesting story that I think we should elaborate on. Do you want to explain?
Yes, so I grew up in Modimolle. That time was known as Nylstroom. So I come from the platteland.
Okay.
And I was there in the Abraham Kriel Kinderreis from before grade 1, so it was grade R. I don't know if there was a grade R then, but it was grade R. And then I was there until high school.
Sure. And for those English people, that's an orphanage.
Yeah.
And how was, that growing up? And I think obviously every experience that people go through in life, and everything they, nature and nurture make someone into who they are today.
Definitely.
And, wanting to, promote strength and, going for goals and setting goals and accomplishing them is something obviously that you as a person enjoy doing. And, I assume that's obviously something that you kind of saw, I've maybe had this little setback. I've had this setback. Let me overcome it and let me push past it.
The thing is, I don't look at anything as a setback. So everything happens and it shapes you into the person that you are. So me being there shaped me in the person, and I like the person that I am. So I'm happy that I was there. They teach you a lot of things that I think I wouldn't have learned if I wasn't there. So we would have dinner at a table every day. You would have a curfew, go to bed at this. So there's so many rules. And you weren't exposed to, I would say, the world outside. Like drinking or going out. It's all different. Like, you're kind of protected. And then you get to the big city and you're like, what's going on here? You're not used to it. Yeah. And it's strange. That's why I always say, I don't think I fit in here. Because, well, every person feels that they're different, but I also feel like I'm different. I feel like I'm a few centuries behind the people here today. But it's just, I think I was there, and I would always remain humble because of it. And because I was there, I know how it feels to have nothing and to work hard for everything. Nothing gets handed to you. If I want to be different or more successful than my parents, so I can either, okay, they were like this, so that's probably where I'm going to end up, or I want to be better than that. And I always challenge myself. I'm somebody that takes on a lot. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do everything, but I do it and I get it done eventually. But I never shy away from a challenge or anything.
And how, as a businesswoman, have you found, because I like speaking to women especially, because I feel if you can run a successful business as a woman, obviously, like we were saying earlier, that, women might be getting jobs more than men now in South Africa. But if you look at women running their own business, I think, that's far more brave, obviously, because any business, any, thing that you do by yourself is brave, male, female, whatever. But I think for a female to do it is more brave than a male, because, as a male, you kind of, it's almost expected of you, but as a woman, it kind of previously wasn't expected of you. So I think you kind of get more people thinking like, why is she doing that? Why is she trying to, obviously every business venture, there are naysayers, and there are people that believe, what you're doing isn't right. You should be following maybe a conventional route. You should maybe be focusing on, just being able to, you shouldn't be risking not being able to provide for your family. But that's what being a business person is, and a businesswoman is, taking that risk. Because if you got a job, you're capped at a certain salary. But if you're a businesswoman, if you're a businessman, and you're an entrepreneur, there's no, cap on your potential and the potential for growth as within the company and within yourself. And, as you want to do now is obviously open up a branch in Cape Town. If you're an employee at a company, you're at your desk, you do your work and you go home. And, as a woman, luckily and fortunately, things are changing, and it's nice to see. I've spoken to you, I've spoken to other women And I actually did a little segment last year when it was like Women's Month, where I got, you know, strong, successful women who have started their own businesses and, you know, done successful things within maybe a male-orientated world. That obviously now it's changing, but, you know, how have you felt at all like there's ever been times where like you haven't been successful in something because, you know, people are saying, okay, no, she's a woman, let's not trust her, or you know what, maybe she doesn't know as much as a man, or as a woman, have you ever experienced, you know, a situation like that?
No, I don't think I have, or maybe I didn't pick up on it. Because if I'm a person, I don't pick up or on anything unless you say it to me. I'm like, I'm not. If you don't say it to me, I won't pick up on it.
But I think it's also your mentality. It's if you don't get something, you know, let's say something falls through within, let's say, I don't know, you want to get a new supplier or whatever, you want to supply the supplements. If they say no, you naturally, and like with your business mind, it's not thinking, oh, I'm a woman. It's thinking, oh, clearly I wasn't offering enough deliverables for them. Or, you know, it's not, oh, my gender's setting me back. It's, oh, okay, that's fine. Let me learn from this and let me, you know, provide something better so that another next supplement company will never say no.
So whenever something doesn't happen which I wanted to happen, or I'm like, okay, wasn't supposed to happen, and I move on. I don't dwell on anything. Like, my mind is not set up like that. I move on very quickly, because if you get stuck on something, that's where you get stuck in life. You're putting time into something. Why didn't this work out? But it's not going to help the situation. So I'm like more like a solver. I just move on, get the next thing and go. I don't spend any time on it.
Why did you even get into competing?
Well, that was a long story.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously your business is orientated around competing, and you've made your business because of your appreciation for, you know, healthy treats, for protein in general. So obviously it stemmed from your competing, but, you know, obviously there was a reason why you got into competing in the first place.
I think everybody that's competing's got a reason. I think maybe especially women, there's a reason, but men too, why they started competing. So I started competing because I was in a really bad relationship, and I was told, get something, do something for yourself. Like, I don't like you, whatever. So it wasn't a healthy relationship, and I just started training, doing something for myself. And at the get-go, I enjoyed it. And I think my first show was a H&H show, and I didn't even place. So at prejudging, you get sent home. But I didn't even have any muscle on me. I was like tiny, ripped, and like small. And then I just set my other goal, and I think it was the first year, I went to the essays. I was still with IFBB, and I went to the essays in Cape Town, and I went alone, and I did everything on my own. And that helps your confidence grow. So as my confidence grew, I grew as a person, and that gave me the strength to actually leave the bad situation that I was in. So I did it really for myself, and because I've got children, I have to be strong for them, because I believe they will look at me and, oh, so that's how women should be, or a man should treat a woman, or whatever. So that's why I'm always out for helping women. Or there's so many women that actually get abused. I have to say this, that and it's popping up more than I thought. People are more speaking out on it, and so that's why I started. But I just fell in love with it and never stopped. So
yeah,
I just kept on going.
And I think in South Africa, especially, the abuse on women is, you know, the numbers are terribly high.
You can see someone and you would never think that they've been through or what they've been through. But I've been in an abusive relationship, and it was terrible. But that's why I grew as also. I'm not looking at it as a crutch. That helped me to be who I am today, because I was a whole different person then.
Yeah.
Before I started competing anything, I would just be the sad person that sits and cry and feel sorry for myself. Why am I here? But the next time, I don't do anything to change it. I'm still there.
Yeah.
So as the competing went on, I just grew enough confidence and I just left and never stopped competing. And there's so many women that reach out to me that even doesn't even know my story, and they say, I can just feel like I relate to you in some way. And I like to meet women like that. If they're close by, they can pop me a message and I'll meet them for coffee. It's just nice to, when I was in that situation, I didn't have anybody. I had one friend, but you don't really have anybody who you can help. Who can help you? Where do you go? They say South Africa is all about helping women like that, but the system failed me completely, so there's not really anything in South Africa that I've experienced that helps women get out of that situation. If your partner at the time, say, is the breadwinner, and you don't have enough money, where are you going to go? And you don't have anybody else. So how are you going to get out of it? There's a wall. There's nobody. So if there's women like that, they should reach out to me if they want to. Just there is somebody that can help. But at that moment, you think your mentality is like, there's nobody that can help you. And they're stuck.
Yeah.
And maybe end up dead. Maybe one day, you don't know.
And I think that's what's good about women now being able to get whatever job if they're qualified. Women are able to, as you have, started your own business. There's so many successful women in this world that, you know, the one aspect of being reliant on a male has kind of shifted and it's gone away. But unfortunately, there still is that abusive nature within relationships.
But I think it's also, I'm not sure if it's around the world, but in South Africa, it's grown more. And that's why I think women are being more confident on their own, because it's not all men, definitely not all men, but there is so many men that they've maybe experienced that is like that, so they would rather not depend on any man and just be on their own. That if a man comes along, great, but you can still, if he doesn't, you can still keep your own.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
need
actually
it.
something that lockdown hasn't helped with at all.
And I don't think lockdown's helped.
Yeah, people being at home, you know, men being more aggressive because they're more annoyed, and it's dangerous. And so I think, you know, there's more alcohol being consumed at home now because you don't have to go to work the next day. You can just be at home and no one knows you've got a hangover or whatever. You know, so that becomes more dangerous. And, you know, there was actually so many psychological aspects that, you know, affected people during lockdown as well. And I mean, in the UK, the amounts of suicides that there were, and I don't know where exactly it was, but there was something where there was almost more, the increase in suicides was increasing at a greater percentage in COVID deaths. You know, then it kind of gets to a point where, is lockdown effective? Because more people are still dying because of lockdown. So it kind of comes to that point where, you know, what decision is there to be made? And I'm glad I'm not in, you know, making the decisions for lockdown, because, I mean, everybody has a different view and everybody has an opinion, and your opinion and your decisions that you make in government are never right.
But I think it's all about mindset. So we are in a world where anxiety and all of this stuff are such a big thing and people suffer from it. But I'm lucky enough to, even though I feel like I've been through the worst, I don't suffer from anxiety or anything. I'm not a negative person. I'm not depressed. So, but my mindset is set up like that. Like, it's nothing's a crutch, and whatever. Okay, this doesn't, and I just move on. And I always focus on the good. So in any situation, there's a good and a bad. But what you focus on, what you focus on will grow. So I don't focus on negativity at all, and I avoid it at all costs. If there's any drama or anything, you won't find me. I go hide somewhere, or I don't interact with it at all. I've learned to protect my peace, so I don't. Any negativity that comes my way, I just avoid it.
Yeah, and I think that also kind of sheds light on the aspect of, you know, nature versus nurture, because, you know, your genetic makeup has, you know, the way your neural pathways and everything fire is to be more positive, and inherently you are more positive. You know, you experiencing the childhood and growing up, whatever, are completely different to someone else who might experience the exact same thing. You know, as you say, you don't let you don't see a setback as a setback. It's opportunity to learn from it and to grow. Whereas someone with the same, let's say the same genetics as you, the positivity within you, even with, a good life or a bad life, most likely will, it's nature and nurture. So both aspects come into it. It's the positivity that you inherently have, and then it's also the life experiences that you didn't let yourself get set back by. Whereas there's people that will have, an amazing childhood and never suffer any sort of pain, no deaths in the family or whatever, but genetically they're slightly more negative, and then it affects them, and then they develop anxiety, and then they develop all these mental disorders and these sicknesses that, could have been maybe prevented if, they obviously if their obviously which they can't change, but if the genetics were different, they might have ended up differently. And that obviously does shed light on nature versus nurture. And I think it's very interesting to see how people grow up, despite of just one aspect. It's always both aspects together.
Yeah, I think it's sad that people, like, some grow up, say, in abusive households and everything's got a ripple effect on that child one day. So because of my experiences, I always try to be better than, like, it's a learning curve. So they say smart people, dumb people learn from their mistakes. Smart people learn from other people's mistakes. So I don't always want to make the mistake myself, but I see what's happening around me and I'm like, no, I want to be better than that. So it's because I've been in the orphanage, it's like a main goal for me. I want to be a good mother. So that's my purpose. I want to give my children something that I never had. Like, when I grew up, I never had a pair of Nike tackies or whatever tackies. I was barefoot. There you go to school. And it's like an orphanage. There's not something like you will go to the shop and buy a sweet or something. When I remember you would get pocket money based on your age. So say I was 7, I would get 7 rand a month. What do you do with 7 rand?
Yeah.
It's like spend it at the orphanage, what do you call it? The Snoopy.
Yeah.
You would spend it there, so they would get anyway the money back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned to maybe manage my money, my 7 rand. And yes, but that's the main purpose. For me, I've learned that my experience is like being there. No, I don't want to do that. I want to be better than this. And I think that people that grow up and then have, say, anxiety and everything, it's bad because they can't help it. And I can't imagine how it feels to be there. But I always say you train your body, like you go to the gym and you train your body and you eat healthy for your body. But what do you do for your mind? What are you feeding it with? Are you listening to your friends and you go to your friends and, this was such a bad day, and I'm not a person like that. I'm like, I've been really busy, but hey, I don't have any time, so let's just go. Yeah. What are you feeding yourself with, and what people are you surrounding yourself with? Because if you are already in a mindset where you do not feel happy or anything, don't fill yourself with negativity. So for some people, listen to good music, that helps, or read a positive book, or surround yourself with more positive people, because the people around you influence you so much more than anything. I've learned as I've go on into business or whatever, the more people I surround myself with and I get to meet, that, but I'm a really private person overall. I don't speak to a lot of people. And then, but more opportunities present itself and I just go to the next and I just grow on from there.
And that's also what business is. It's networking and it's making connections. And, you're not going to make good connections if you are negative. You're not going to make, positive, you're not going to leave a good, a taste in people's mouth. If you are, the moment you see them, you never met them before, you're complaining. That's also what business is. It's kind of, you need to be right. I mean, you need to be positive and you need to focus on, making bonds, and that's obviously what you need to do, is make a bond with the clients as well, because those people that are coming to the gym, most of the time they're pretty much the same people, always coming in and coming out. So obviously I assume that's something you've also focused on, is, you know, having a good client relationship with the people coming in.
Yeah, I always want to go the extra mile. So if I have a free time, we would be at say at the shop on Saturdays and speak to the people that come in, or you've got your regular customers that come there for, say, this smoothie, or they always get this, and the people that work there know them by name. So it's good to have that customer basis, but also I don't really get to the gym that much because I train at home. It's just easier with the kids.
Yeah.
Because of COVID regulations, they couldn't go into the gym, and I don't want to put them at risk there.
Yes.
But yes, I've been training at that same gym for so long that I do know mostly everybody there, and that helps. But the nice thing is, like, the business is your marketing, because the business, like on social media, everything's going social media these days. People would get to the shop and they're like, they don't train there, and we are quite hidden, like the centrum's here and we're at the back. So, but people would come there not to train for us. So that means the marketing that you're doing is working.
Yeah.
People are coming there for you, even though you're hidden and not to train. They just come there
for the protein.
Yeah.
And that's something obviously that every business needs to be involved on, is social media, and
Definitely.
building an online presence and making sure that, you know, you're kind of just bombarding your audience with information, with, you know, content that is going to obviously show them who you are as a brand, your ethics, your, you know, your way of, you know, positivity. And that's what your brand also is on the social media, is it's obviously firstly informing people what products you have and everything like that, but it's also creating a lifestyle, and it's creating, you know, with your innovations, with the new look, it's creating that lifestyle and that healthy, you know, it's not the end of the world if you have this healthy cheesecake, you know, rather have this healthy cheesecake than go and have, you know, mug and bean cheesecake or whatever. And that's what a brand needs to be. And I actually had a Monique on yesterday, and she's created that, obviously, that Minion brand that she has. And that's also what you've done, is you've created this protein, healthy, it doesn't matter if you're craving, have something nice, have something good from us, so that we can obviously keep your goals pretty much on track, and then obviously not allow you to, you know, not have your mind thinking negatively. And then, as you said earlier, with like those other food prep companies that look so bland, there's no color, and then obviously there's no adherence to your diet, because the moment you look at a boring diet, you don't want to follow it.
Yeah, and well, if people's got that healthy mindset and they think they can't enjoy anything else, but there's alternatives. You can. Diet is not just, I'm going to eat my salad and eat your salad and your chicken and that's it. Still have something. If you crave something, rather have a little bit of it, like deprive yourself completely from it. I never ate chocolates at all until I started competing.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't have a sweet tooth. But now, when I'm not competing, I would eat a chocolate a day.
Yeah, and that's also what's competing. Unfortunately, it can create unhealthy eating habits, and, you know, binge eating after shows and whatever. And I think with time, people kind of understand their body better, and they understand the cravings, and they can, you know, look inside themselves and say, okay, I'm not actually craving. It would be nice to have it.
I would just eat sometimes. Because when I'm going to get the chance to eat it again. So I have to eat this now. I'm not even hungry. I'm just, this is my last cheat meal. I got to have as much as I can. Yeah. That's unhealthy, but still I enjoy it.
Yeah. And also, but I mean, you are pushing your body to the max, and you depriving yourself so much to look the best way possible. And actually, before you came, I was speaking to my fiance, and she was saying that she was, no disrespect for the girl that did beat you in your lineup, but she said, I actually want to ask you, why didn't you win that lineup? Because she thought that you personally looked better than the lady that won.
No, I don't have any idea. So
okay, you didn't chat to the judges? Or?
I think they require that you send, I think, stage pictures, and I didn't even buy my stage pictures, so I'm not going to buy that and send it to get feedback. So you buy it from them and you send it to them for feedback. But they should have the pictures so they can, I feel that they can give you feedback according to it. But I just thought, well, I didn't just do it for the win.
Yeah.
You have to do the show to do the you have to do the pro qualify what's it the well, you have to do the show to to qualify to do the big man. So I was just like, well, that's not the goal. The goal was not to win my lineup. It was to just to do the show so that I can do the next one. So I was like, whatever. It's not the end of the world, like I always do, and just move on. But no, my coach is like, what? I got backstage and I was like, what? Another girl in my line. I was like, I thought you were gonna win. I'm like. I don't really know what to say because I don't like speaking negative about other people or, well, I always say so. Maybe if somebody doesn't win, that's like I've said to this to many people, if I didn't win or if it was your lineup and you didn't win, think about it. Maybe that person needed a win more than you did. So for you, it was just a win. But for that person, maybe they're going through something, they just needed the win more. So that's how I want to look at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you do, when I won Big Man last year, no, not Big Man, sorry, when I won Master Malaysia for Classic Physique, I was like, how did I just win Classic Physique? I don't think I should have won, but maybe I needed the win then. And maybe, that experiencing that little bit of positivity and that little bit of praise, kind of gave me affirmation to try other things in life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also, as you say, surrounding yourself with the right people. The people that also you want to be surrounded with are the people that you're going to bring into your life. And those are the people you want to stay. Because you don't want to be sitting in a room where everyone's just talking about other people, where everyone's just talking badly about other people. You want to be in a room where people may be talking about business ideas, where people are talking about self-progress, where people are talking about just being better.
Yeah, but I always say, if people talk negative to you about somebody else, they're going to talk negative about you to somebody else.
Yeah.
So I don't like to get even into that situation. So I don't think people would even approach me to talk about somebody else. And if somebody do, I would always say, just for instance, somebody that I know, they would come talk negative, say about my coach, but that never happened. But say it was my coach, and I would just say, listen, don't say anything negative in front of me about him. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I would tell them straight. I'm not a grey area person, so you will always know. I would tell you, because I need you to tell me, because I don't pick up on stuff, and I will tell you. And so I think some people might consider it rude, or they have this persona that you think you're better than them or anything, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm not at all. I'm not better. I come from the orphanage there, Coldfoot. I'm not better than anyone. I just work for what I want, and my mindset is set out, and I don't like talking negative to somebody else at all, because I think the more you say negative things, if it's about yourself or about other people, they say what you feed, like what you read and what you listen to, that everything flows down into your heart. And what comes out of your mouth is what then comes out of your heart. So I don't fill myself with negative, anything bad, and I won't even mention anything bad.
Yeah, but I think there's nothing good. Obviously, it's the opposite of what's good. But negativity, I'm not going to go and ask a negative person and an irritated person to come on my podcast. No one wants to hire the negative person. No one wants to be friends with the negative person. No one wants to be in a relationship with the negative person. So people need to also understand that, and we've all done it at times, and we need to learn from it. And obviously you have, where it is sometimes nice to say something bad about someone because it makes you feel good for that instant, and then you obviously have regrets. You're like, why did I say that? Why did I have to be mean? There's nothing good from being mean. Nothing good comes from being mean. So, being positive towards other people and exuding positivity from your body brings in positivity, and it brings in, it's good karma. It's how you feel about the world is how the world is going to perceive you. And because if you walk into a room being negative, you're going to be perceived as negative. If you walk in with a big smile, charismatic, happy, people are obviously going to like you, and people are obviously going to be drawn to you.
See, I'm a big introvert. I think I'm the biggest introvert that I know. But I get out of my comfort zone, and it's not that I can't interact with people or speak to clients. I prefer not to do it that much because it's not my comfort zone. But if needed, I do it. But then I say the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. Do you know what the difference is, in your opinion?
I would say the introvert is someone that listens more than talks.
I would, well, in my opinion
Yeah.
only, I think an extrovert, it's not that you're more outgoing than an introvert. An extrovert just gets or recharge on energy from other people. That's how they. So I'm also outgoing, but I'm an introvert. So that means I recharge when I'm alone in quietness. I like quietness. So being around people, like if I would be around a lot of people, that's tiring on me. Like it's a bit of effort for me because it doesn't come naturally. It's not that I can't do it,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm gonna just have some alone time, have my cup of coffee, and just recharge a bit, and then I'm fine.
Yeah. And it's interesting how some people just are introverts, some people are extroverts, and it's nice to see that even if you're an introvert, even if you are, kind of sometimes you like to be alone, it doesn't mean you're not going to be successful in business. You know,
People just see me and they think like, wow, I can't speak to her. I always look like not approachable. But if I'm an introvert, I'm shy. So it's just that I wouldn't talk to you. Why would I just go out of? I won't talk to you. But if you approach me, I'm sure I'll be fine. But it's not. It's because I'm shy. I won't approach any people. And people would come to me, like girls in the gym, and they're like, "Ah, you look so." Or they would message me because they see me, but they won't talk to me. They would message me and say that I look. They can't approach me, and I'm like, "No, man. If you see me, just come to me." I've put that one thing on my story, and everybody said like. It's like, how do people perceive you or something? And they said like hardcore. I'm like, what is hardcore? What does that even mean? How am I hardcore? I'm not hardcore. I don't know what that means actually. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not hardcore, that hardcore. Speak to me.
Yeah, and I think that's also what social media has done is, 10 different people can, let's say a post that you make, they can look at it and perceive it in a different way. So, that's the problem with social media is I can take a photo of that statue and people can think I'm being arrogant. People can think I'm, insecure because I didn't win my last show. People, there's so many different, perceptions that people can have from social media. And that's obviously one of the people had of you was, that you're hardcore, that you're unapproachable, but, that's not the full story. And social media, it's difficult to show people fully actually who you are.
So I'm hardcore, like I don't take bullshit. I don't like it. Just tell me something straight. Don't play any games with me. But social media is also, I use it as a platform to promote myself.
Yeah.
That's definitely not my life. I think I will, whenever there's questions like, how are you in a relationship? Or why does that even matter?
I think they probably want you. That's why.
But why don't you go on Tinder or whatever dating site then get somebody? But my opinion, I'm not on there looking for. Yeah. Otherwise, I would put in my bio looking for a soulmate or looking for somebody. I'm not looking for anybody, and that my page is just to promote myself. It's not who I am. Well, it's kind of who I am, but
you are far more than just what you put on social
like,
media.
I wanted to change the idea that I'm not. So long ago, it was just like whenever you start your first show, that's all it's about. So, and then I realized, I think I'm different, and I'm not just somebody that's into fitness. I'm so much more, and I'm a different person. Fitness is not my life.
Yeah.
Gym is not my life. Competing is not my life, and that's something I've made very clear. It's not. This is going to end. I'm not always going to do fitness. I'm enjoying it, so I probably will always train. But I love competing, and the reason for this, I have a goal, and then I reach it, and you feel you've reached your goal. It's a self-fulfillment, I think. And then you set another one. So if I don't have a goal to work towards, I feel like lost. So that's why I'm competing. I know I have to be right at that time. Otherwise, I don't want to do cardio today. Not today. I'm going to sit on the couch. So I'm a goal-driven person. That's why I compete. So as long as I can, I'll do it. But I'm so much more of another person. And social media's got this persona that So say you don't put any photos up of your children. Yeah, so because they're my children, they're not there for social media or for any attention of that. That's purely to promote and to promote my sponsors or whatever. And well, obviously to motivate other people, but that's all it is, not my life. Whenever I say I was in Cape Town, I would anyways post that photos after I've been to Cape Town. So I'm not always posting stuff where I am. You don't give your whereabouts to everybody. You don't know who's on there.
Yeah.
People just make assumptions as this is who you are. But life is so much more than social media.
Yeah.
That's a marketing tool. That's all it is.
Well, I think you can also tell a lot about a person by the Explorer page. So, because obviously we know the algorithms, they obviously go and they read what you see, and what you like is what they put in front of you, and what you follow and who you follow, and the things that you look at while you're on Instagram is obviously what they try to redirect you to and keep your focus on. So on your Explorer, what is on your Explorer? Yeah.
Lots of food.
I think because it's interesting that people are competing. I mean, there's no one really that competes that doesn't have nice food on the Explorer.
There's all of these different treats and lots of beauties, like beauty models or fitness models. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's as far as exciting as it gets.
Yeah, and I think that it shows what people are interested in is, I think that's the easiest way actually, is what people are interested in is what the Explorer shows. Definitely. Like I know for myself, on my Explorer, like there'll be cars, there'll be like computers and like the newest, latest gadgets and stuff. And then, you know, people within the fitness industry as well, because I mean, obviously we all follow people within the industry, and so that comes onto our Explorer. So it's just interesting to see what people are like. I mean, if you... Most girlfriends like to go through the boyfriend's Explorer page, and if they just see lots of girls and girls and girls, and they're like, well, clearly this is all you're looking at.
No, mine wouldn't be like all those millionaire mindset with the girls and everything, and this overseas women with the nice hair and how hair tutorials, everything beauty and fashion and definitely food. Yeah, I'm a major foodie. I love food.
Well, I mean, you are in the business of it at the end of the day.
And the funny thing is, I was making food last night and I thought, how did I enjoy making food? Like, it's like, it calms me. I like doing it. It's not, that's a difference when now I have to employ someone because it gets big. How do I teach them to do it like I do it? Because I have a passion for it, but for somebody else, it's just a job. Yeah. So it's a big difference the way that they're going to do it and the way that I do it, because I give attention to detail. That's very important to me. And I was making food and I thought, how was this it was my worst in matric, was the food. Yeah. And now I'm doing it as a job. I don't know how I got here, and now I'm enjoying it. I couldn't even boil an egg, I think, and now
It's interesting how you change and how everything you go through in life just molds you, and your decisions and everything shapes you into the person that you are meant to be. And every little negative thing that happened in your life happened for a reason to make you into the person you are.
Whenever I look at like your Instagram's got that 2 years back or 3 years back, that memories, I use it and I think other people should use it too. Well, when I get like, I look at it every day. So it would say 7 years back, and I would always see from 7 years back or 2 years back, how much did I grow? Am I in the same place? What did I post then? Am I in the same place mentally that I was then? If I am, there's a problem. I didn't grow. And if I didn't grow in 2 or 3 years, what the hell have I been doing? Yeah. So I always look back to see that, and it's not growth like in my physique or anything. It's mentally. Did I grow as a person? Did I level up? Did I go forward? Did I go backward? So that's what I use it for, but I see only growth so far, so that's good.
Oh, that's good. So which Planet Fitness is it, just so people know exactly which one to go to?
Planet Fitness, Henop's Park. Okay. So it's also in Centurion, but it's not the mega club.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I'm going to put all your social media and everything below so everyone can check it out.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you very much for listening, guys.